welcome back to this episode of the Habs Fan Forum. I'm Ben Dankyu, and here at the Habs Fan Forum, this is where us fans get to have our voices heard. Alright, let's talk about our Montreal Canadiens. This week, I'm going to be going over the 5 top/breakout performances I'm expecting in 2021-2022. There's a lot of unknowns in the air coming up, and I'm going to break down who I think is going to shine throughout the year and be the top performers for the Montreal Canadiens. Before I do that, a quick little word from our sponsors. As you know, the Habs Fan Forum is part of Rocket Sports Media and is proudly sponsored by DraftKings. DraftKings, who is the leader in daily fantasy sports. They make payday every day. They've paid out over $7 billion, which is a lot of money across all sports and all users. You can make today your payday by downloading the DraftKings app as a first-time user and using the promo code THPN. So this is going to be really tough. The forward lines, there is so much depth and scoring throughout that, especially in the top 9. How are you going to pick the highest scoring wingers in this, and who's going to have the top performing season? It's tough. And then on the defense, it's so new. They brought in a lot of new faces. They lost their captain and their top pairing defenseman. It's a very interesting year. And to pick the top performers, it's a tough one. But I'm giving it a shot, and I'm going to see who will be the top 5 performers for this year. All right, starting us out at number 5 is Alexander Romanoff. Okay. This guy came in last year, high expectations, played 56 games, started off really strong, had a lot of great games in the beginning, and then he had some bad stretches, and the coaching staff kind of lost trust in him. You know, playing with guys like Merrill and guys like Gustafsson, he just couldn't find a place in the lineup, and he kind of lost a little bit of confidence. Well, they benched him in the playoffs, and then they regretted that because when they brought him back in, he showed why he should have been there the whole time. I think this year is going to be a huge breakout year for Alexander Romanoff. This is the year. He's going to probably start in the top 6, but I expect by the end of the year, he'll be a top 4D. Big things from him this year. Picture that hit on Alex Pietrangelo laid out. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in top 4 minutes from Alexander Romanoff. Alright, so this is one I struggled with quite a bit. In the 4th spot, I'm picking a winger. And you know what? You could probably... Tyler Toffoli, who had 28 goals last year in a kind of a resurgence year, or Mike Hoffman, who was averaged over 30 goals over the last 3 years, had some big seasons with a 36-goal season in the Florida Panthers, who's going to have a spotlight role. But guess what? I'm going with Cole Caulfield. This kid's a star. He got his show. He got his time to shine, and he showed that he can put the puck in the net. This kid has talent. He's playing top-line minutes with Nick Suzuki, who is a total stud and going to be feeding him passes all year long in his rookie season. I can see 25-plus goals from this guy. And you know what? With guys like Hoffman and Toffoli and Drouin and Gallagher and Anderson, having that winger depth, they won't necessarily be able to zone in their shutdown guys on Caulfield and Suzuki. So that could play into it, and another reason why he's number 4 on my list. All right, number 3 on my list is Jeff Petry. I know this guy, in the early bits of last year, he had Norris Trophy consideration. He was a total star. He's one of my favorite players to watch when he's on. He's shown that he can play up and play top pairing minutes when he needs to and when this team needs him. The second half of the year was a little bit of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because at certain points you couldn't even trust him on the ice. Terrible giveaways, bad positioning, lazy plays. Kind of spotting. He still had his flashes. He put up a great season points-wise, but the second half of the year he just kind of fell off a little bit, especially in the playoffs when he had those up and down games. So one thing I can say is that's not the player that we've come to know. We've seen how he can play like he did in the first half of this season, and I think with Weber out, Jeff Petry steps up and shows that he can put out 50 points and he can be a first pairing D on this team. And this brings us to number 2 on my list, Nick Suzuki. Love this kid, his attitude, his skill, his work ethic. He's just an all-around great player, and he's been trending up. He was pacing towards 50 points his rookie year. He was pacing towards 60 points last year. This year, I can see him getting up to 70 to 75 points. 20 plus goals, and having a huge season for the Habs, driving that top line. He's my number 2 breakout. He's going to have Cole Caulfield on his wing, putting the puck in the net. And I'll even be honest, I'm kind of hoping for 80 points. Fingers crossed, but let's see if Suzuki can do it. And number 1 on my list, none other than Carey Price. He's been the best player on the Habs for the last decade. He's an all-star. In the last 2 playoffs, he showed what playoff Price can do. I think he got a taste for winning from last year. As long as they bring him back slowly from his injury, let him rehab and get him properly, and play him for maybe 50 plus, hopefully up to 60 games. Give him that right amount of games where he can play. I can see him putting up 30 plus wins and having a .920 save percentage plus, and having a huge year for these Montreal Canadiens in their number 1 slot. Alright, like I said, this was really hard, so I'm going to do 2 quick honorable mentions. 1, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. I really wanted to put him on a breakout on this list, but I just don't know if the coaching staff are going to give him the right minutes and the right attention to be able to do that. And number 2, Ben Sherratt. He had a great playoffs. This is a contract year for him. The first year he's not playing with Shea Weber. Can he play into that top pairing, or at least play a really strong top 4 role? I think so. I think he's got what it takes, and he's going to have to prove it. So he has all the right cards to make a big impact this year. All right, that's it for this episode of the Habs Fan Forum. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like down below, tell your friends, share this video, and hopefully hit that subscribe button so you can see future episodes. And of course, you can follow all Habs for the best Montreal Canadiens coverage. All right, thanks again. I'm Ben Dankey, and of course, woo! Go Habs, go, baby!